Alright, I am so excited to finally make this video because Light Elegance is just one of those brands that always comes up whenever somebody asks for allergy-friendly recommendations or just an overall high-quality, professional-grade product. One of the things that makes Light Elegance so interesting is that it was developed and still currently owned by chemist Jim McConnell, who has devoted a lot of time into researching acrylate allergies and coming up with a product that is quote-unquote hypoallergenic. And yes, there is no such thing. Technically, any product can cause a reaction, but he's created one that is meant to minimize any potential reaction and minimize the allergens that are included in the product. It is also made in the USA in a lab, and Jim himself is super responsive to questions and comments on their social media and YouTube channel, which I found really neat and indicative of how they run the brand. One of the primary concerns that I see with HEMA-free products is retention. Now, I'm gonna lecture y'all a bit with my internet chemistry degree, and what better video to do that with than swatching Light Elegance? After all, they've got great chemistry. Ever since developing this allergy, I've done obsessive levels of research into what causes it, which chemicals make up the product, what they're used for, and how they react with the human body. Despite my extensive research, I'm not a chemist, so please do your own research on the matter and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about any of it. So, hydroxyethyl methacrylate, or HEMA, is a monomer, which means a small simple molecule that acts as a building block for polymers. HEMA is a bonding agent and what makes the product adhere strongly to the nail plate and other surfaces. However, it is also highly allergenic, and because it's so small, it easily penetrates the skin and the nail plate in its free-floating liquid form. Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite colors I think ever made, period. It is a perfect snowy white. I mean, it literally just looks like fresh snow when the sun hits it. It's got the tiniest little bit of shimmer. It's just absolutely perfect. I love this color. Okay, back to the chemistry. UV lamps are used to initiate the polymerization process by engaging the photoinitiators in the polish. Commonly, you will see these in the ingredients list as benzoyl peroxide and other phosphine oxides. One chemical to look out for in the ingredients list if you are particularly sensitive is TPO, or trimethyl benzoyl diphenyl phosphine oxide. I think I got that. So this is the most common chemical that is found in nail polish as a photoinitiator, and according to the European Commission, it is considered safe as a nail product at concentrations of up to 5%. However, it is also classified as a skin sensitizer and does have a potential to trigger allergic reactions. The photoinitiators absorb the UV energy and start to split into radicals that make the molecules in the polish bind into longer polymer chains. As your polish cures, this reaction is going on many times at a very rapid speed, which creates that uncomfortable friction we know as heat spikes. The more monomers in your polish, the more reactions, and the higher the heat spikes. Once this process is complete, you have a solidly bound structure made up of polymers that are now too large to penetrate the skin. This is why cured product is generally considered safe, and why you can wear properly cured gel press-ons even if you have an allergy. This is also why gel will harden even when it's only semi-cured, once it has enough bonds. However, if the polymerization process isn't completed successfully, or you use a product with very high amounts of monomers, the remaining free unbound monomers can penetrate through your nail plate, and this, folks, is how I got my acrylate allergy using Beetle's gel glue. This is why using a lamp that is compatible with your polish and using polishes with high-quality ingredients is so important. I've seen Light Elegance be critiqued in Facebook groups due to having the word HEMA in their ingredient list. However, it seems a lot of people don't understand how this is actually very different. Light Elegance uses Bis-HEMA, which basically means that instead of free-floating tiny HEMA molecules, the HEMA is pre-bound to a molecule chain known as an oligomer, where it is complex and large enough in structure that it is unlikely to penetrate biological tissue such as skin and nails, while still providing the retention and bonding benefits of HEMA. Although I have used products like Melody Susie Fleur Wheat that contain no methacrylates at all, and I've had no issues with retention, but I do swap my nails every 2 weeks anyway, so I'm the wrong person to ask whether any methacrylate is truly necessary. You will also commonly see the ingredient acrylate copolymer in cosmetic products and even regular polish, which is kind of the same idea. Very large chains of acrylate monomers that are unlikely to cause any reaction. In order to get around the anti-HEMA movement, cheap, unregulated companies have begun to replace it with HPMA, or hydroxypropyl methacrylate, which is you guessed it, monomer. It's pretty much identical to HEMA, except it is larger by 1 carbon atom. And although it is a bit larger and thus slightly safer, it is still highly allergenic. Alright, so I think I've covered enough on why I like Light Elegance, what makes it different, and also what makes an acrylate allergy and what are the chemicals that are in our products. So what do I think about the actual polishes, the colors, the usability? And honestly, I've tried many different polishes, admittedly, in my quest for finding things that don't flare me and lines that I like best. And I have to say that this is the smoothest, most just buttery colors that I have ever worked with. I mean, you get what you pay for. Quality is quality. There is such an obvious difference here. Whereas a lot of these hypoallergenic products and HEMA-free stuff are very goopy and very thick and more difficult consistency to work with. This stuff is just absolutely perfect. It is a dream. It applies just like a non-HEMA-free polish, and I just love them. And the colors are also gorgeous. These also have rounded brushes, which really helps in preventing flooding of the cuticle area and just getting really up close and personal without flooding. So there is one little comment I wanted to make, and that is that do not use these gels with any other system, and do not use the LE dot with any other system. So they were not kidding when they said that they can only guarantee that it'll cure their gels. I tried to cheap out because their stuff is expensive, so I wanted to use a different top coat since these are just swatches. And I use this top coat from Sparkle & Co. And although I absolutely adore Sparkle & Co. for their dips, the top coat is not it. So because I really don't like it, and I don't even know what's in it, honestly, I just use it to top coat my swatches. But clearly it did not work out in this case. Speaking of using this system correctly, don't make the same mistake I did because I bought the Super Shiny top coat only, but Super Shiny is a hard gel product. So it should not be used with the soft gel product that is the P+ polish. So the P+ actually has their own top coat. And they also have another top coat called Top Gloss that does indicate it is for hard gels only and it's not compatible with soft gels. But however, I did notice that Super Shiny does not have this indication. So admittedly, before I even knew this through a Light Elegance video that I saw on YouTube, I was using Super Shiny over my Melody Susie Fleur-Oui manicure because they don't have their own top coat, and it was totally fine. I had no chipping, no cracking, no issues, but they recommend you not to do that, so I will also recommend you not to do that. Okay, so on to the Jimmy Gels, and I do have to say that I've been cheating, and prior to this review video, I have totally been using the Jimmy Gels as the tip glue for all of my soft gel tips, including the one that you just saw with the Melody Susie polish, and it has been absolutely amazing and has not caused a reaction. I absolutely love these. They self-level beautifully, and I don't typically do builder gel or really work in builder gel, but these are just great, and I can't wait to use them more and branch out into the builder gel world. This is a perfect boomer white for baby boomer nails, and that's exactly why I bought this one along with Precious. And as you're about to see, this is a gorgeous pink. So these two in combination are perfect for baby boomer nails, and I cannot wait to try those out because those are my favorite classic clean girl mani. And I had already pre-swatched Precious because I got it in my first order, and man, I am cheating a lot in this video, sorry y'all. But moving on to Crystal Clear. So this is perfect for soft gel tips. It's a little bit of a thicker consistency, so I want to bring in Skinny Jimmy and kind of show you the difference between the viscosity of those two. I would say that I probably use the clear Jimmy to maybe do rhinestones, like a little glue or something, whereas the Skinny Jimmy is probably even better for soft gel nails. Although I have been using the regular Jimmy gel and I just got the Skinny Jimmy, so I can't wait to try that one out and see how it goes. Okay, so now we are on to the Buttercreams, and I am very excited about these because I've never used a product like this before or anything similar. I've used gel paint pots, but this is actually a hard gel. So it will also give your nail structure, and it will literally just stay right where you put it. This gel does not self-level, and that's how they advertise it. So let's see. I'm trying to stick to only Light Elegance products, so I got their gel brush and I just pulled it out of my gorgeous Selena Riden brush case, and we are going to start swatching. So first up we have Martini Up. That is interesting. I was kind of expecting this to be more of like a darker kind of like pine green that I could use to create some grass to my designs or some trees, but it's kind of looking pretty neon. Maybe with a second coat. Let's see. Okay, so I cured for 60 seconds and let's try another coat of this. Another thing I noticed is that it's actually really sheer for what I thought was supposed to be like a one coat coverage, very pigmented type situation. So I'm surprised to see how sheer this is. And now, granted, these are clear tips. It wouldn't look as sheer on the natural nail, but still, I was definitely expecting a bit more coverage. And the color just doesn't really match what's on the bottle, but still a very pretty color. Next up, we have Going Organic, and I'm really excited about this one because it's could be a nice skin tone shade if you do that kind of hyper realistic art. I can't do it, but if you do, then this is a great color for you. Now, see, this here is more of what I expected from the Buttercreams. It's very rich, very pigmented, stays right where you put it. This stuff does not self-level at all, which makes it a little difficult to get the strokes, the brush strokes, not to show. Personally, I don't think I would cover a whole nail with this. I don't think that's really what it's meant for anyway. I think it really is meant for more just line art and things like that, where it has to stay where you put it. If I were to use this as a full coverage color, I would probably mix it with top coat or something. All right, so next up we have leotards and leg warmers. It was too long to fit on my swatch, so it just says leotards and legs, but this is a very pretty yellow. There's like a butter nails trend going around in the summer. I don't know if you'll caught on to that, but this would be the perfect color for that. It's a really beautiful, like just spring summer yellow, and a little bit more sheer than Going Organic, but still pretty full coverage. You could probably get away with one coat if you were covering the full nail with this, which again, I wouldn't personally do, but great for art. Okay, now here comes another super long name that did not fit on my swatch stick. This is Camel, one hump or two. And again, this is one of those really nice skin tone colors. If you were doing realistic art or cartoon art or something like that, this would be a pretty good skin color. I would say you could even mix the two, maybe add some yellow in there. You can really get crazy with the color theory up in here and mix these gels and make something very, very hyper realistic. Last but not least, we have Midnight Meat, and I'm really excited about this one because it's like an electric shimmery blue. I absolutely love blues. I'm a sucker for a good blue, and I don't really have a blue like this in my collection, so I'm pretty excited to see what I can create with this. I noticed right off the bat that it's kind of like the Martini one, where it's a little bit more on the sheer side and it's definitely a lot easier to work with. So I am noticing that the consistency of these is a little, like it's not very, well, consistent, but they are still really nice to work with and they are going to be perfect for art. And now I did do a second coat on Midnight Meat and Martini, but the rest are all one coat. Okay, now on to the gel paints, and I'm curious to see how these compare to the Buttercreams. I very quickly want to point out that these are really hard to open and they are messy. If you are opening these for the first time, make sure that you are using gloves. Do not open these with your bare hands, especially if you have an allergy, because it will inevitably get all over the place. Every single one I opened, I tried different techniques and they were all messy, so just be careful. According to Selena Riden, these also don't self-level and they are a hard gel product. The difference is from the Buttercreams that these actually will add structure to your nail. It's pretty evident right off the bat that these were made for line work and not to cover a full nail. The product is a little resistant to glide onto that nail, but it is still pretty easy to work with considering its viscosity, and for what its intended use is, which is art and line work, it will perform wonderfully. If you are covering the nail for whatever reason, then I recommend working in very soft brush strokes and just barely putting the brush on the nail. Like you want to kind of hover it over the nail as if you are applying builder gel, than to just press it on there because it's going to resist. I am doing a second coat, but that's just because I tried to do a very thin first layer, which is what Light Elegance recommends you to do. If you are using this to cover a full nail, they are harder to cure, so you definitely want to make sure you're working in thin layers, and usually 2 thin ones is better. But if you are using this for line art, you would do a thicker line, and 1 coat would be all you need. Since it does stay on there, you just lay it on a little bit thicker. So I kind of just wanted to skip directly to the color gels. These are actually quite a bit more beginner friendly. They do self-level, unlike the other products that we've looked at, but it is still a hard gel, so it does need to be filed off, and you need a top coat like Super Shiny or Top Gloss that is a hard gel. Pretty much everything in Light Elegance that we've looked at except for the Jimmy Gels and the P Plus is a hard gel. However, these do apply a lot smoother than the paint gels or the buttercreams, but you should still use the hover technique. You don't want to just jam the brush on there like you're applying a regular polish, but they do self-level and they are a lot more forgiving in application and also in the way of covering imperfections. I also really love this minty color, and the other one is like a really nice electric blue as well. So overall, I think I will be ordering more of these color gels. These are still thick enough for line work, but also thin enough to where you can coat the nail. So I think this product really is the best of both worlds if you're only getting one. And here is the side-by-side of the gel paints and color gels. Okay, so I noticed when I went to wipe off the shine on these to top coat them that it wasn't curing. All of it was coming right off on the wipe, and then it just came right off the nail entirely. So it was very much not cured. So I'm trying again with another layer. This time I am making it as thin as I possibly can so that it'll cure evenly. This is a darker color, so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe I just applied it too thick. Okay, so this time I cured for 90 seconds, and let's see. Oh gosh, it's still coming out. Yep, it's not curing at all. What on earth? So as you can see, I am using the Light Elegance mini dot lamp, and it is plugged directly into the wall, so I'm not sure why it's not curing. And so far that I've noticed, this is the only color that has happened with, so I'm gonna try it one more time. But this time I'm going to cure in my Melody Susie lamp instead, and see if it'll do it then. Alright, so I cured for 60 seconds in my Melody Susie lamp. Let's wipe and see what we got. Alright, so there is still some color coming off, but for the most part, it is pretty cured. It's not coming off the nail entirely like it was with the Light Elegance lamp. I am a little concerned about this, not gonna lie, because as somebody with an allergy, properly curing your products is very important, which is why I wanted to get a full system like Light Elegance to begin with. So I'm gonna email them and see what's going on with the lamp, why this particular color isn't curing, or is this just the only color that I noticed wasn't curing? Light Elegance does advertise this as being just as powerful as a full-size dot lamp, but I'm not sure about that. There were other issues I had with the lamp during my manicure, so I will discuss it in more detail in part 2. I wanted this to be 2 parts just in case somebody was only interested in the swatching and the chemistry, or if somebody was interested more in just seeing the manicure and the design process. Both parts are uploaded at the same time, so I will link that one here. Please go and check it out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in part 2.